What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and we have perhaps Disney's worst review series of all time. Well, we'll see about that. In the launch of Miss Marvel, which follows one Kamala Khan, a superhero that nobody knew or cared about, but was thrust to the forefront from a representation. Now, that's fine. Not every show that is on Disney Plus needs to be for me. I'm not offended by its existence. I'm just not watching it, like a lot of people. Although I've seen a lot of people really feel like, I saw a couple tweets where they're like, wow, it's really cool to see a Muslim family depicted in this way. Cool. Like, if that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. I don't think Miss Marvel is going to be selling many movie tickets, but maybe I'm wrong with that. The show isn't meant to be serious, I don't think. It's supposed to be like a kid's show, goof, a gaff, or whatever. And to be honest, the critics, of course, gave it a 97%. That is extraordinarily hard to believe. It definitely is not a 97%. That would just be, I mean, it is extraordinarily unlikely to be 97%. That said, they're going out there and they're talking about, they're like Marvel themselves. It's the best reviewed Marvel show ever. There's 5 reviews. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole reviews. So I don't know if I would exactly be, and none of them are top critics. It would be nice and be helpful if you could actually see it. So there, it's on screen. Before I get into all the hilarity around this, just a quick word by this video's sponsor, Established Titles. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. They allow people to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so they can call themselves a lord or a lady officially. In return, they commit to plant a tree with every order and protect the beautiful, pristine woodlands of Scotland. Established Titles makes an absolutely amazing gift, and a person could officially get their name changed on documents. Their title pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate and an official certificate with a crest. Established Titles is currently having a really big sale just for you, my subscribers. You can get an additional 10% off any purchase you make with the discount code TheQuartering. So click the link below, go to establishedtitles.com/TheQuartering and use promo code TheQuartering to save an extra 10% today. Now you see Digital Trends, Pop Culture Planet, Superhero Hype, I'm sure they give unbiased reviews, Common Sense Media, Bleeding Cool, which we know is a shill website, and We Bought a Blog. These are well-known reviewers. On the same level as like Siskel and Ebert. Everyone looks forward to reviews from WeBoughtAblog.com and SuperheroHype.com. No disrespect to them, but let's pump the brakes on saying it was like the best show ever. And just like you get this like hilarious positive reviews, see what I think to be the truth is the show's probably fine. Like, it's probably not like a 60% or 70% show, but no critic, and I repeat, no critic has the stones to give this movie a rotten rating. No way. You would be called an Islamophobe. You would be called all sorts of things. So they just don't review it. We saw this with Matt Walsh's movie where people just don't review it because they can't. We saw this with that stupid Seth Rogen anti-Christian stop motion thing with what's her name? Bob's McGee, Silverman. Like, no critics bothered reviewing it because it was an abomination. But I mean, they didn't want to be called, anti-Semitic. If you don't think that people actually think that way, you're wrong. I mean, I know this to be true. I've talked to people in Hollywood and people review things behind the scenes. Now, it's not to say that like they're afraid to be critical of things when they review it, but if they just don't care about it, why take the risk? But now the media, and by the way, again, this is a movie that has, according to the viewers, with 1,500 reviews. Again, not exactly a massive amount of reviews, has an 86%. My guess, it'll probably finish in the mid to high 70s like any Disney Plus show, and is totally fine to quote unquote consume. It's forgettable media for most people, but it's just stuff to fill up your time. Obi-Wan Kenobi obviously receiving a lot of backlash, but we have 100,000 articles written by the media. Miss Marvel gets review brigaded on IMDb after Disney Plus premiere. Okay, they just didn't like it. Maybe they just didn't like it. Miss Marvel review brigaded into being MCU's lowest scoring show on IMDb. Miss Marvel is currently not only the best reviewed MCU series. Again, at this time there were 5 critics. 5. All right. And then again, even higher than Black Panther. It's funny that they picked Black Panther, don't you think? This movie is like as high as Endgame. This TV show, this cheeseball, like whatever, if you like it, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, this is not an epic show. All right. It's a show. It's a cartoon. It's 97%. So meaning it's the best reviewed MCU show or movie ever at the moment. That's why it's noticeable that Miss Marvel actually has the lowest scored MCU series on IMDb based on user star ratings. And yes, the answer is that it's being review brigaded. You mean the reviews aren't being gate kept? Now, this is what's very common, all right? And by the way, it's not like the show has like 2, all right? It's a 6.6 out of 10, which I bet is not that crazy of a score. You see, so it's not review brigading if people just don't like it, some will say. But looking at the data, it's impossible not to see what's going on with Miss Marvel as an outlier. Okay, now here's a prediction by me. An absorbent amount of 9s and 10s, which doesn't make sense. And then an exorbitant amount of 1s and 2s, which, the overwhelming majority in positive reviews, that's normal and expected. But the overwhelming majority of negative reviews, those have to be fake. I mean, that's like, this is like 28,000 people rated the show a 10 out of 10. This is for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, here's Marvel. Oh my God, it was exactly what I said. I swear I didn't look at this. You have, let's say 9,000 reviews. I'll round up right now. 9,000 reviews. You tell me that the 1,900 ones are not our review brigades, but the 3,500 10 out of 10s, no, those are all legitimate fans who gave the show a 10 out of 10. That's why, like, this stuff is so absurd. Like, look, this show is obviously not a 10. It's obviously not a 1, okay? But let's be real here. You have 40% of all votes giving it a 10 out of 10. Are you going to sit there and tell me that any Disney Plus show is a 10 out of 10? Literally, any one. Even The Mandalorian wasn't a 10 out of 10 in its first and second seasons. You could give a hard argument for like an 8.5 to a 9, but it was nowhere near a 10. Not even close. Okay, most people found it between 7 and 8. Again, the media just makes this stuff up when it's convenient. The 3,400 people are totally just not positive review brigading, but the 1,900 people, they're definitely review brigading. The Mary Sue, of course, Miss Marvel's getting review brigaded. Miss Marvel being review brigaded on IMDb, ratings plummet to 6 points. It's like, this is a causation and correlation are not matching up here. It's hilarious to me that journalists try to present this as some sort of truth when it's not. The fact of the matter is, you're always going to have like these 2 table legs of reviews where you have 10s and 1s on everything. Yes, there are people who just gave it a 1 because they hate Miss Marvel. There are also people that just gave it a 10 because they love Miss Marvel and want to stick it to the chuds, okay? Both scores are equally inaccurate, but only one of them is seen as a problem by the media. I wonder why that is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy Miss Marvel, watch Miss Marvel. If you don't, don't watch it. There's so much great entertainment to watch out there right now that has been produced over the last 100 years. I'm sure there's something you'll enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video, though, and if you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please click that red subscribe button. We'll talk to you again real soon.